Hi, Rebecca from NC Beer Explorer here today at Flying Bull Restaurant and Brewery, and I'm here with Joel Miles. His partner here is Anna Block, who couldn't be with us today, but we're glad to have Joel on hand. We met Joel when we were at Brugaloo, and we noticed that the line at the Flying Bull kiosk just kept growing exponentially while all the other lines were shrinking. I think it's because people like us were like going to the front of the line and then circulating back to get more different types of pours because the beer was so good. And we had been here before and we were struck by the space. And so we wanted to get a formal sit down with Joel to get a behind the scenes look for you, our viewers. How are you doing today, Joel?
I'm doing fantastic. I just got through fixing some tables.
Yeah, I noticed as we came in, you were like really busily at work, getting tables to sit so they wouldn't jiggle. We as customers appreciate that, by the way.
It's the curse of the restaurant industry,
Yeah.
outside help and
Yeah.
tables that don't wobble.
Yeah. So I know you did have the 9th Street location, and you guys moved here in, I think, 2023?
2024.
2024. Okay.
We started the build out in 2023. Our space over at 9th Street, obviously that was our baby. It was where we started our brewing. We outgrew that space pretty quickly into about the 3rd year and started looking for other opportunities to expand. And we happened upon this place.
Yeah, tell me about the design of this beautiful space, because it has a lot of different features. And you mentioned that it's kind of in an L shape.
It is. So space here was very, very intentional, very intentional. Look up above you. There's a big flying bull. You know where you're at. And there's also kegs, keg lights in the ceiling that I had custom made that had my beer in them before.
Wow.
And one of my friends helped me design a lot of the pieces in here that I'll go through in a minute. But again, my whole vision was more than just a brewery.
Yeah.
Because as I've said before on other interviews, if you've been out to breweries, I think it's cool to go sit on a picnic table or on a log by the river and have a beer and have something off a food truck. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's everywhere. Yeah. And I think that what we have to offer is not. And that is, again, you can have more than just beer. You can have a cocktail. You can have a great meal. You can come here pre-DPAC show or pre-Carolina Theater show. You can also come here on date night. We've had people propose. We've done weddings. It's a great event space. I'll go ahead and say that right off the bat.
You heard it here. Great event space.
And I think that we're very distinctive in that I'm always here. And I'm always doing table touches. I'll give you a brew tour in a heartbeat if I have the brewery open, or invite you back for a brew tour. I'd love to talk about beer in general. So it's that we are a family-owned business. And so it starts with me and Anna, but all 3 of my kids work here. My son is right there as our lead server tonight. My oldest son was my lead server before he got a different job and still works here on the weekends. My daughter's my lead bartender. And yes, that in itself can be a challenge, to not show favoritism, that kind of thing, but to treat everybody the same, right? Yeah. And so let's go right to that, because that's our next topic, right? Is the bar. The bar, because that's the next experience. So you're down in the beer hall, you're experiencing beer, and then you come up to our cocktail bar. And I originally was trying to get more of that speakeasy kind of feel behind it, because I love bourbon. So, unfortunately, I love all alcohol.
I know it's kind of an occupational hazard, but all things in moderation.
Yes, all things in moderation. Yes. So the beer tower was another part of that, designing that in my own way that represented what we thought this place should look like, along with a beautiful set of bourbon framing a beer tower. It's a beautiful thing. There's elements here that I've taken from other things that I saw look beautiful and worked. The trellis there over the bar, again, custom made by Connor Ironworks, and he did also the liquor rack. He did the windows in frames in between here. But I had a vision of what I wanted it to be. I still wanted it to be industrial. And I went all the way to Indianapolis on a trip just to get those 10-foot windows that basically separate the dining room from the bar. That makes it it just gives it some personality. People, when they come to a show, guess what? They like elegance. They like,
do.
and they like a good food. They like a really memorable place, a place where you can experience it. And that's what you're going to experience where we're at right now is food with beer with great cocktails.
So tell me about the food. And I know that you mentioned you're no longer the head brewer because you've got your hands around so many things. But who is your head brewer now?
Tyler Foley's my head brewer,
and your chef is
and my chef is Tyler Foley.
Tyler Foley, the same person. Okay.
Yes. Tyler, this guy knows beer.
Oh, good.
And again, coming from a place where we were brewery of the year in Durham in 2023, under my leadership as the brewer, and now we bring in Tyler Foley, and guess what he's doing? He's like knocking it out of the park.
That's right.
And one thing I had not done before is lagering. I hadn't produced lagers before, and right now it's this thing right here. Check it out. That's what it's called. It's a Czech Pilsner, and it is like, I'm an IPA person, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I need to check it out again today.
Yeah.
And it has to be drank in this kind of, and drinking in a 20-ounce stein. If you get it, it makes you feel better about it.
Yeah.
But he's a great brewer, and his dad was an executive chef. So I think that he has some culinary awareness that works well in the brewery.
Yeah.
Because brewing is culinary. One thing that I find, just like with you guys, you're beer lovers, is that people love to talk about beer. If they get in front of me, they're going to be asking all kinds of questions. Everything from what's that sight glass looking thing there behind that's on your beer tower to, how did you produce this beer? What makes this beer different than that beer? So there's a lot of good things that come out of that space.
Yeah, and one of the things I was going to ask you about is how do you sort of plan your schedule of brewing? How do you decide what you're going to be serving and when? Is it seasonal? Is it event?
Partially.
Okay.
Partially. So I had my schedule as, when I was doing the brewing. And obviously you have your cores. You have our Bull in a Bottle Shop Hazy, our Dancing with Bulls, West Coast, Bulgarian Lager, the Mackinac Peach is something that comes out every June because guess what? Peaches are harvested in June most of the time. We have a beer called Amber Waves of Grain. That's one of my core beers as well, but it is still seasonal in its coreness, just that I bring it out every year. We brew across the board, meaning that we brew from a lager now, which again, as I stated, I wasn't doing prior to Tyler. I did only ales, and we brew all the way from lagering all the way to stouts.
That is a very complicated chain of production.
It is. Well, we do have 20 taps. One of those is a cider, and guess what? 1 out of 3 drinkers, or 1 out of 4 drinkers, I think, wants a cider most of the time when they come in. That leads me into a quick story. When I first opened on 9th Street, the very first thing that I sold was a Prosecco, and I was pissed.
Oh no!
And the very first thing that I kicked was a cider, because I had not experienced the retail side of it to understand that you got 3 of your best beers and only 1 cider.
Yeah. And
that cider is going to kick way before those other 3 because everybody else is trying a variety of those. Yeah. So because a lot of people, for instance, think that, oh, well, stout's a heavy beer, so it's like soup, so I need to drink it in the winter. I'm like, no, I want a stout now.
Dry stout.
I love a beautiful stout.
Yeah.
And a stout doesn't have to be heavy, doesn't have to be high ABV, although mine are all like 10%.
Okay.
I got the Somebody's Anniversary, which is a chocolate macaroon stout, and it's like 10 or 11%. I can't remember.
Making a note to try that.
That thing is that is one that when we come out with it, we only brew it once a year, so that'll come out in the fall. Lagers obviously are something for all year round, but a lot of people drink your lagers and your, like your Mackinac Peach, your Ambers, things like that, lawnmower type, lower ABV. And just trying to offer a variety of beer for different people, like you said. people react differently. If you don't have enough IPAs, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you don't have enough IPAs," or they'll be like, "Oh, I hate IPAs," or "Why don't you have a stout?" And it's July 4th and it's 105 degrees outside, because most people don't think you should have a stout during that time. But I disagree. I think that there's nothing wrong with a great stout on a hot day.
Well, and you guys have obviously been able to stay the course and even grow um, during a very difficult time post-pandemic for most brewers. What do you think it is that sort of like cemented your place in the community?
Well, we started out in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and we signed our lease on February 25th.
Uh-oh.
The pandemic hit March 20th. We could not get anything done.
Yeah.
Through the city, through contractors. So myself and Anna and my kids and friends, we built that place out. We still followed the letter of the law for plumbing and HVAC and electrical. We had the right people do that work. In the pandemic world, breweries, distilleries, and wineries were considered agriculture manufacturing. They were not considered bars unless they had unless they had a restaurant and had other elements,
Okay.
such as food, right?
Yeah.
But if you were just a distillery, you could have opened back up if you were ready.
Interesting.
And we opened up in August when nobody else could.
Wow.
And we knocked it out of the park. We were like excited. It was like, whoa, because we didn't really think about it, that we were one of the few in town that were open. As I've worked behind the bar at both locations, I'll come sit with you in a minute and have a beer with you.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I have come and gotten into conversations with customers who were sitting having dinner, and they will say, "Hey, pull up a chair," because that's just how I roll, right? They're because I love people enough that they see that and they're interested in talking with an owner. People love the story.
Right.
There is a story, and I'm telling you, it's not a story of all happiness. I mean, there's been some struggles. I've had major struggles with equipment, and I've had major struggles with people. And so as we've grown since even 2024, when we moved in here, there's been times like in December, my boiler was down.
Yeah.
And then my glycol was down. And guess who's fixing that? Because when you're down and you're not producing beer, I still remember when I was at on 9th Street and we had just one beer. Mm-hmm. But that was exciting to me. Just so you know, I'll give you a story on that. But I would brew, and I would get to the point where I just had wort. And I would put the hops in on that wort, and I would be about ready to put it in the fermenter, but it smelled so good, and I would like start taking out samples.
You were a wort muncher.
I was take samples to my customers. I'm like, you guys have got to taste this.
We want to be sure we get on to the rest of the experience here. Joel, it's just been such a delight to talk to you today. I am not the least bit surprised when we met you at Boogaloo. You just gave off a radiance and a warmth. It was like, we got to go visit that guy. So we're so excited to be here today. And is there one final word you would like to, or thought you would like to share with people about Flying Bull?
There to always have an open mind. And never judge a beer on the first sip. It's always on the third, especially especially if it's an IPA.
And I also want to say, smell your beer.
Yep.
Smell
the nose drives the palate, baby. 100%.
Right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this part of the tour today. So we want to say thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.